Hello, Mordarim here. In today's video I want to show you an incredible super fun magic build for Enshrouded. It offers surprisingly deep mechanics to keep combat engaging and fresh, while at the same time being relatively basic in terms of tools. You have your wands, a few basic projectile spells, and that's about it. The game doesn't offer much in terms of variety. Still, this wizard is here to wreak havoc with incredible damage, insane healing, fast-paced gameplay and overall satisfying progression. You will obliterate everything in your path, I guarantee it. Nothing will be able to best you if you play your cards right. Now first let's have a look at the gameplay. You will mostly use your wand for damage with bomb throwables to clear out groups of enemies early. Your AoE is locked behind the skill tree, making for interesting encounters in this stage of the game. Regardless where you currently are in the game, you have to kite foes to avoid getting hit. This can be tricky depending on the enemy because of lengthy animations. Luckily, we are here to break the game immediately by sprint jump animation cancelling the wand cast animation. This allows us to T-pose through the air while dishing out insane amounts of damage regardless of the stage of the game. Once we get access to more skill points, we can start to get electric AoE tendrils as procs on crits, a heal aura based on our intelligence, and a damage aura also based on our intelligence. At this point, we transition to Godhood, basically becoming an unkillable death machine, featuring insane regen, damage output and surprisingly good defenses. But there is more. We can further abuse spells to dish out insane burst damage in form of fireballs or poison carpets. Chain lightnings are also at our disposal. This spell fun, however, costs mana, which limits our big nukes from becoming truly usable. Well, luckily for you, you can actually bug out the game into thinking you are casting spells while throwing out wand projectiles, resulting in absurd damage at the expense of nothing. No mana cost, no spell cost. Yep, this build is absolutely broken right now. Keep in mind, this mechanic might be fixed relatively fast, so do not bank on it. Next, let's have a look at the attributes for this build and how to progress your character. Intelligence is your most important stat. It scales multiplicatively with other sources of damage, making it a multiplier. This can be combined with magic damage, wand damage, double damage chance, and crit damage, as well as elemental damage on gear to scale 40 damage into 300 plus. It's an absolute monster of a stat and should always be prioritized compared to spirit, which just gives us a little bit of mana. Next is constitution, which increases your health. It's just insane how strong this stat is. Enemies hit for a ton, so having that extra health will be crucial to surviving. Now spirit and endurance are not that important for this character. We are a mage, so mana is not completely wasted, and we use stamina to run around, but we have other ways to circumvent this one. So those stats are just nice to have, but nothing you should spec into. Next up, let's have a look at the spells available to us. In your character screen, you can equip a long-range weapon, in this case a staff. Once you have done this, you can activate the casting menu and choose the spell you want to cast. The spells you acquire in this game have uses, however, some spells, like for example the ice spell, the ice bolt, can also be acquired in the eternal version. An eternal version has infinite uses, is a little bit stronger than the regular spell, and costs a little bit more mana. In the first tier, you will find the fireball spell, as well as the regular ice bolt spell, and you can obtain the eternal ice spell. This one is featured in a quest. You will also obtain the heal channel spell. Those are going to be your bread and butter spells throughout the whole game. They do not fall off in terms of damage too much. So you have the added power of your staff and the added power of the projectile. It's basically a bow. Casting a particular spell will have a cast time and then you shoot out a projectile. This projectile has insane range. So this tree down the range can be hit. Takes a while because of the bullet velocity, but we do hit him. The wand does not have this. The rock in front of us is too far away and we cannot hit him. Now when you look at the mana bar, you can see sections. There are light blue dividers. Those light blue dividers signify how many spells you can cast with your current mana pool. So if we change the spell, the dividers move. The fireball spell 1 and 2 are basically the same. The eternal ice bolt works just the same as the fireball spell. However, the fireball spell has an AoE attached to it. Then we have heal channel. So we channel those blobs. They will hit you and heal you. This one is particularly powerful, so make sure to stock up on your heal charges so you always have some healing while you're leveling. Later on, it's not as important because of a heal aura you can obtain through the skill tree, but for now, this spell is going to be your heal. Next is the chain lightning spell. When we compare the damage value of this spell and the damage value of the first fireball, we see there is a discrepancy here. It's only a little bit stronger. The animation for the chain lightning is also a little bit lacking. I'm not entirely sure if this one is a bug, but currently it doesn't look as good as the other spells. And then you have Acid Bite. This one you can get in the third biome. I will show you how this one looks. So look at the ground. You spew out a carpet of poison. Enemies standing inside this one will periodically get damaged. It deals insane amounts of damage. So this spell is really, really strong throughout the whole game. Now, based on the damage numbers we have on our weapons, we have Fire, Ice, Shroud, Shock, Poison. We now have a Fire, Ice, and Poison as well as Shock spell, but are missing the Shroud spell. So I'm guessing we are going to get a Shroud spell. I just have not found it yet. As for wands, I have only found a Fire and an Ice wand. So those are available in the game. I have not found a Shock, Poison, or Shroud wand. So those are limited. Now let's have a look at the moveset. Your wand has this animation for your hits. It's a 1-2-3 combo. 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to recover a little bit. To make this one a little bit smoother, you can fire a wand and then animation cancel, just like that. So you can move around while firing a wand. Otherwise, you're going to be really, really slow. You cannot do this one with the dodge. It still attaches an animation for this one and is not as smooth as this one. It's basically tap strafing in Apex Legends, same mechanic. You do not need to press shift, but if you run at enemies, you can press shift and then animation cancel in the air. This one will consume a little bit of stamina, but you jump a little bit further. So if you're running away from an enemy, you can use this one to kite them a little bit better. As for spells, those need to be cast, so you cannot animation cancel this one. You're stuck in place, you cannot jump away. Now, a regular hit on an enemy deals around 140 damage, possibly 200 damage, possibly a double attack, so 300 damage. Now, we can improve our damage by just keeping the spell selected, then we jump, then we fire our one shot, and we deal an insane amount of damage. So we are cancelling the cast animation, but are queuing the damage with the jump, and we can double tap this one. So again, for this technique, you need to press the cast button, then you jump, and then you fire your wand while you're jumping. This will make sure that you are casting the spell. Sometimes it consumes the mana, as you can see here, but not always. And you can do this technique even without mana. Also, as you can see, it does not consume the charges of your spell. Now, I know this technique might get patched, so keep that in mind. It's a hefty bug and basically makes the mage the strongest class in the game. Next, let's have a look at the skill tree. Your starting point in the skill tree are those blobs. So there is a shiny blob, a flame, and around this parameter you can skills outside or inside. You do not need the skills inside, so stuff like lumberjack, increasing the damage of your axes, or mason, increasing the damage of your pickaxe. You can also learn a counter or a backstab, but for this build those skills are not important. What we are going to instead do is go down the path of the battle mage. We pick up intelligence, absorber, intelligence, unity, and then wand master as well as sting. Sting is a more damage multiplier. Wand master is a chance to deal basically double damage. So both of those are more multipliers. With unity you can get a little bit of mana recovery, and absorb increases your mana recovery even more. Afterwards we want to complete the wizard tree. So we pick up Spirit, this is the way, so 10% additional more damage with magic weapons. Spirit, Arsonist, Pyromaniac, so at 10% and a 20% more multiplier. Then we are going to ignore Radiant Aura for now. We do not have the intelligence to make this one worth. We pick up Intelligence, Wizard, Chain Hit, and Mass Destruction. Wizard gives us 10% additional crit chance. Then we pick up Chain Hit as well as Mass Destruction. So on a critical strike, we deal additional shock damage per intelligence. And then we pick up the intelligence here. At this point, you want a little bit of additional constitution. So we pick up 1 point here and 1 point here. So in the tank and the warrior. After completing the wizard tree, right up to this point, we want to pick up quick charge to speed up our casts with our staff. Then we pick up intelligence, healer, healer 2 to improve our healing, intelligence, water aura, and waters of life, all of which can be found in the healer cluster. This will now provide us with 2 healing per 1 intelligence. So now we have 10 intelligence. We can boost this one with a consumable to 13 with this current setup. This will then generate 26, or at this point 20 health per second AoE for your allies and yourself. It's an incredibly strong talent. Afterwards, we're going to pick up Radiant Aura as well as Sun Aura. So additional 20 damage with 10 intelligence, 2 damage per intelligence point that also scales with all our multipliers, resulting in some decent damage. This will help immensely versus critters. Afterwards, pick up Counter Strike and 1 point in intelligence. And then we are going to complete the tank tree with shiny plates, heavy plates, constitution, warden, as well as another point in constitution, and then earth aura, all of which is percentage based damage reduction. We can also pick up tower for additional physical damage mitigation, and then we complete the build with begone, intelligence, and terror. On a critical hit with spells, the target will be stunned for 4 seconds, an incredible boost to power. If you are struggling a bit with mobility, you can pick up endurance, runner, and then double jump between the athlete and the survivor. I personally really like the additional power, so I didn't pick this one. But now in the third biome, I am contemplating picking this one because there is a lot of climbing. And I also want to pick up updraft, so you can boost your glider a little bit. Afterwards, I would highly advise going for the survivor trait. At this point, you will be able to cook a little bit better food with the farmer upgrade. But before that, you basically only craft your mushrooms and your meat. And that's about it. You cannot eat 2 meats at once. Now, speaking of consumables, we can further optimize this build through a variety of buffs and foods. First, get your comfort up to not run out of stamina. Next, consume some juicy meat. Early on, chunks of wolf meat and later on game meat will improve your health through constitution. Next up, use berries early on to access health regen before you get the heal aura. Dry them to increase the duration. For your main stat, intelligence, use mushrooms of any kind. Cook them before you eat them, otherwise you only get 1 intelligence. As for potions, use the elixir for a hefty boost to damage, scrolls to increase it even further, a variety of other options for light or more stamina, and of course healing potions. Those can be crafted en masse by the alchemist by combining water, berries and mushrooms, so pick those up whenever you can. Now, this sums up the video. If you happen to enjoy it, make sure to drop a like. If you have any questions or remarks, make sure to comment down below. You can also subscribe if you have not already. Make sure to join the channel membership to support me some more and check out my Patreon for AI art I use in my thumbnails. So, see you next time and bye.